Okay, let me introduce you to Betsy, who's going to talk about Power BI and Python. This is a topic that's never been touched before at the Meetup, so I'm very excited to do it. So yeah, okay. First of all, yeah, you've talked quite a bit while the presenters were on stage, so please don't do that. Please discuss everything after the presentations. Thank you very much. So, okay, back to the stage is yours.
Hello everyone. So yes, I want to thank Dorian, the organizers, and also IPAM for the opportunity to present here. My topic is Power BI and combining Python with Power BI. Power BI is a reporting tool from Microsoft, and about 3 months ago it had a new feature to enable using Python as a data source and using Python as a visualization tool. So I have to talk a little bit about Power BI to be it understandable, but I will focus on Python. You can find me on LinkedIn, and I have a blog called datascientistbudapest.com because I plan to be a data scientist one day, but I'm taking it slow because it's important to have a strong basis of skills. I'm halfway through the data science course on Data Camp, and I want to recommend it to you. And also there is a very good podcast from Hugo Brown Anderson. It's called The Data Frame, and it's very interesting even for studying, practicing English. Yes, and my slides I have notes. Some of the lines are in the notes, making these slides a little bit better understandable. So I recommend going to my GitHub page and download these slides to be able to download this slide share from Hugo Brown Anderson, and that's the slide I want to read to you because it mentions business intelligence. So Jonathan Norris breaks data science into 3 components: business intelligence, machine learning, and decision science. So when you want to study data science, it's very useful to become familiar with a business intelligence tool. It can be Excel, Power BI, or ClickView, or Tableau. And decision science is very interesting. You should read something about that. Okay. This picture is about the GrantNet BI landscape, the segments of the BI task, like reporting, analysis, monitoring, and predicting. Well, reporting, analysis, and monitoring mostly the same thing, but predicting is achieved by data science algorithms, and some of them are built into Power BI, like clustering or forecasting. The GrantNet BI landscape for a couple of months now names 3 leaders: Tableau, Microsoft, and Qlik. They have products like ClickView, Tableau, and Microsoft Power BI. And if you want to study a reporting tool, you should choose one of them. And I recommend Power BI because that's free and maybe the most widely used. So of course you can download Power BI Desktop from the site. The links are in the slides. This is a picture of the release notes. It says there is a new feature in the analytics called Python integration. So it means a couple of things. For BI developers, it means that I think they should only use Python code when they can solve a task by other languages. First we are using SQL, and we are using the query editor, that's another language, and we are using DAX, that is the measure creating programming language of Power BI. But Python developers don't have to study all of that. They can connect to the data source in Python and transform the data in pandas and use the Python visuals. And I want to reassure you the importance of the graphical user interface, because you can save time coding in Python and add interactivity to the reports. So users need to have Python installed to see the visuals. So on the Microsoft page, there is a tutorial to run Python and also to run machine learning algorithms on SQL Server. So it's very useful if you have lots of data and you don't want to use your own resources, you can use the server's resources. Yes, it's an example of Python script running on SQL Server 2017. It's very simple because it's my code. I managed to create a full name, calculated column, and last name in upper, named in uppercase, named last name. You can read about this in the Microsoft documentation. I will try to show you 3 things in my presentation. I showed Power BI demo with AdventureWorks and Investors Exchange Developer API access with Python script demo, and maybe I will talk about a little bit about programming languages used in Power BI. Okay, this is Power BI.
You didn't create it, Ronai.
So it has the basic diagram styles, stack bar chart and stack column chart, but I like this feature. It's called report page tooltip. Okay, and it has table and matrix visuals, and you can drill up and down from hierarchies like year, month and day. Basic line chart with logarithmic axes and trend lines and an average line. Okay, pie chart and something called donut chart and clustered column chart. There are KPIs KPIs as a useful feature in the Power BI service in the cloud. They can send you email alerts if they reach a certain level of sales target. You can get an email about that. Okay, and Power BI has maps using the Microsoft Bing map. Okay, yes, it won't work without internet. Yes, and it has some funny visualizations which are not very useful. So I always leave the not useful types at the end of the line, like this infographic. And I will always tell my customers not to use this because they can waste about 1 hour trying to create this, and they shouldn't start. Okay, and now it seems like I should see that. Okay, this is my report in which I am accessing an API using Python code. The first step of creating a report like this is creating queries. You can see the new sources. Power BI can connect to Excel, SQL Server, all kinds of data, and in the other group you can use Arc script and Python script. Also, yes, I want to mention that I have uploaded thorough documentation, a step-by-step tutorial about this report to my GitHub page, so I won't have to mention every detail. Okay, so first you type in your Python code, and after that it looks like that in red. I have imported the data using this package, EXFinance in Pandas. And yes, this argument says I wanted to download the Apple stock info, and it is a parameter I have created in Power BI. You can see it at the left. So I don't have to hard-code the date range here. I can set it in the parameter, and all of my queries are going to follow that new argument. This device reporting tool doesn't translate the index of a data frame automatically, so I have to add the index as a calculated column. Date was the index, so I had to create a date column. Yes, and I managed to create a new calculated column named returns, and that says the percentage change of the closing price of a stock. Okay. So I created this query, and I added a custom column that has the name of the stock. Yes, it's also a very I have to mention this useful feature which says how many data you have in this column, and how much of that is distinct or unique. And the way to create this Amazon and Facebook and Microsoft queries are to say that you want to duplicate this query, and you say Google, you just change it Google, and you just change the identifying column to Google. And in the query editor, you change the ticket to GOG. G-O-G. Okay, and yes, I have a typo there. It doesn't matter really. So, yes, that's the way to create all of these. And because this is a free API, I didn't have a token. I have built in a delaying mechanism to schedule these queries, and some of them have like a sleep value, like 10 seconds, others have 20 or 30 seconds, to make sure that I'm not asking for too much data. Okay. As you can see the date and here. Then this is the fact table, which references the first query, the source, which has the Apple information. And I have just appended the Microsoft query in the first step, and in the second step I appended the Amazon, Facebook and Google query. And you can see the decimal separator is a point, and to use it in the European way, I changed the numerical type with this change type with local command. So yeah, it's command. Yes, and if I said close and apply, it will refresh all of these. And I'm going to show you some Python visualizations and Power BI visualizations as well. This is from Power BI, and yes, I want to show you that this is these are the days on the lines. And you can deal up to see the months, and you could deal up to see the year, but I have only 1 year. And the very interesting feature is that we can use a slicer here, and I can choose any of these columns as a slicer. And let's say the month short. And okay, and I can choose August, and it shows the date for August, and okay, and September. And I really like it because the customer can ask sometimes better questions, and they can come up with new slices to use. Okay, it's still a Power BI visualization, and it's a Python visualization. You can see it's much slower, and if you are interested in the code, you can just click on that and read it. And it is working with these slicers, so the bigger ones are Amazon and Google, but I can click on Apple, and it is going to show us that. or I can just use this date slicer, and it is going to change as well. Yes, it starts with August now. Okay. These are item visualizations, and these are from Power BI. And using this, I had to add the index because the data set does not have automatically any index in this reporting tool. So okay, let's speed this up a bit. I have some DAX visualizations, DAX calculated columns, like this is the Amazon stocking values calculated with this code. It's easy to read, harder to write. Okay, and as these histograms are very easy to copy and paste. I just did that, and I can just choose a different filter. I can say it's not about Apple, it's about Google. And yes, it took me half a minute to create a histogram about Google. Okay, yes, and I have a swarm plot and line plot, and I have about 10 other visualizations that I'm not going to show you this time. That's why I have uploaded to GitHub. Okay. Maybe okay, so I just would like to run through the last couple of slides. When you decide to use Power BI, you should check the options, because you must read all of the options and choose the right answer for them. Okay. So Power BI are using different languages, SQL, and DAX. DAX has different data type, so when you are using Python, you should handle them or transport them. Some DAX code, and I think the general rule about transformation and applying business logic is that you should do most of the transformations closer to the source of the data, first in the database, in the query editor, and in DAX. And it's very useful to be able to use Python as well in this tool. So I would use Power BI for basic BI line graphs, basic line chart or histogram, but obviously if I want to use statistics or any clustering, forecasting, and I would use Python. Okay, and please experiment combining Python with Power BI and post your results to social media. Maybe show them to me on LinkedIn. Maybe you can, I'm sure you can create bigger and interesting reports than I did. And if you have time and have recommendations to improve my demo report, please let me know. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Betsy. No time for questions.